Hello, Chiefs Kingdom. This was a no-brainer. It just got confirmed. I'll be covering everything that's going on behind the scenes, but if you want to stay up to date on this and other news, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Without further ado, let's get right to the breaking news. Alright, let's talk about the big story ahead of Week 4. The Chiefs are headed to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers in our first divisional matchup of the season, and we're getting some pretty impressive injury news that could really play in our favor. The Chargers have several key players dealing with injuries. First, Justin Herbert is playing through a sprained ankle. He's a tough guy, so he could still be on the field, but that's not all. Their star rookie, right tackle Joe Alt, is out with a sprained MCL, and we all know how important the offensive line is to keeping a quarterback safe. Add to that left tackle Rashawn Slater and defensive end Joey Bosa, who are both out with injuries. Oh, and don't forget that safety Derwin James is suspended for 1 game. That's 5 key players the Chargers could be without when they face us this Sunday. This is a big deal for us Chiefs fans, especially considering how tough the first half of the season has been. With the Chargers missing so many of their best players, this could make things a lot easier for our defense, especially Chris Jones and George Karlaftis, who could have a field day rushing Herbert. Even if Herbert does play, he'll be limited, and with a depleted offensive line, we could be all over him. And on the other side of the ball, Patrick Mahomes should have more room to work, especially with Derwin James out of the picture. James is usually a big factor in their defense, and without him, Mahomes could be able to exploit the middle of the field. Of course, we'll have to keep an eye on the injury reports throughout the week, but as of now, the Chiefs appear to have a significant health advantage heading into this game. If all goes well, we could be looking at a 4-0 start to the season against a beaten Chargers team. So what do you guys think? Are the injuries enough to tip the scales in our favor, or do you think the Chargers will still struggle? Alright Chiefs fans, let's break it down. Another week, another close race. We're 3-0 after a 22-17 win over the Atlanta Falcons, but man, these games are getting tight. It was a real test of nerves, right? This week, the game came down to the wire once again, and it wasn't decided until Nick Bolton came out huge, blowing a 4th-and-1 run from the Chiefs' 13-yard line and stopping Bijan Robinson in the final minute. Talk about clutch! In the locker room afterward, Justin Reid summed it up perfectly, saying the team's motto this year is survive and thrive. And it makes sense. The NFL is tough, and Reid reminded everyone that the difference between winning and losing is razor thin. But great teams? They just find a way to win. That's exactly what we've done so far this season. Sure, every one of our games could have ended differently, but we have that championship drive that keeps us coming out with wins when it matters most. And isn't that what being a Chief is all about? This week, it was the defense that stepped up when we needed it most. Twice in the last 5 minutes, the Falcons were in the red zone, and twice we stopped them on 4th down. That's the kind of defense that wins championships, and while we weren't perfect, we're showing that we have the resilience to hold up in those moments. Now, let's talk about the offense. Patrick Mahomes has been solid, but he'll be the first to admit that things aren't going his way. He finished the game with 26 completions on 39 attempts for 217 yards and 2 touchdowns. But he's still chasing that 300-yard game, which we all know is a normal day for him. There were some missed opportunities, and Mahomes himself has said it, he needs to get back to his basics. There was an interception in the red zone this week, too, with new Falcons safety Justin Simmons catching the ball. That's 4 straight games in which Simmons has picked off Mahomes. Crazy, right? Mahomes hasn't been shy about taking responsibility either. He said it's up to him to execute better and put the ball where it needs to be. He's already thinking about next week against the Chargers, knowing they'll make us drive the field and prove we can do it. But let's be real, if anyone can get back to his best game, it's Mahomes. We've seen him do it time and time again. A big reason for the offense's recent struggles is injuries. We're missing 2 key pieces right now, receiver Marquise Hollywood Brown, who is out after shoulder surgery, and running back Isaiah Pacheco, who is dealing with an ankle issue. In their place, we've seen some young guys step up. Rookie fullback Carson Steele made his first start and put up a solid 72 yards on 17 carries. He's been reliable, but we know Pacheco's return will be huge for this offense. Without Brown, we've had to accelerate the development of first-round pick Xavier Worthy, while second-year receiver Rashee Rice has really come into his own. But of course, all of this means defenses are paying even more attention to Travis Kelce. And while Kelce is still drawing double and triple coverage, the offensive flow hasn't been there for him. He had just 30 yards on 4 receptions in this game. That's where Rice has really shined. He's been a huge part of the offense, catching a career-high 12 receptions for 110 yards and a touchdown this week. But as we all know, Rice's off-field issues are a concern. He's facing criminal charges for a hit-and-run incident in Dallas earlier this year. It's a serious situation that could lead to a suspension, but right now, the legal process is buying us some time. And for the Chiefs, that's been a blessing because we really need Rice on the field with Brown still recovering. Mahomes was quick to praise Rice for stepping up when defenses are focusing on Kelce. And while we expect defenses to adjust and start covering Rice more closely, that will only open up more opportunities for other guys like Kelce, Worthy, or even Juju Smith-Schuster, who are waiting to make some big plays. Mahomes made it clear Rice is a legitimate number 1 receiver, and each week he's proving that more and more. So with all these moving parts, what's our identity this year? Well, maybe this version of the Chiefs is about finding ways to win, no matter how messy it gets. We've seen the Chiefs win in many different ways over the years, whether it's with a record-setting offense, a dominant defense, or playoff-clinching performances on the road. This season? It's still early, but the pattern seems to be forming. We're doing enough each week to get by, and that's keeping us in the W column. Chris Jones said it best. So early. He's not wrong. We're 3 games in, and while we've seen some flaws, we've also seen flashes of what makes this team special. Justin Reid's message was clear. We've got to keep pushing through and getting better. You don't want to peak too early in the season, and that's a warning to the rest of the league, because when this team gets everything clicking, it's going to be a scary sight now. Chiefs fans, I want to hear from you. What do you think about our performance so far? Do you feel confident heading into the next game against the Chargers, or are you worried about some of these early struggles? Before you head out, don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe to stay locked in on all things Chiefs. Let's keep the momentum going. Go Chiefs!